Are you ready for another wrestling war? Well, look no further because it is here. This is everything you need to know about AEW vs. WWE. If you enjoy this kind of video, don't forget to click subscribe and ring that bell to get notified on all the latest videos.
Twinkle in his eye, and Jericho is pissed. Oh, God! The thunder and the lightning of John Moxley leaving his mark. The God Almighty, the referee's down. Moxley carving a path of destruction here at All Elite Wrestling.
While WWE did in fact know that Dean Ambrose was not re-signing with the company, they did not know that Dean Ambrose would be making headlines as an AEW star, John Moxley. Now, of course, John Moxley is expected to be the top star for AEW going forward in 2019 and beyond, and only time will tell if he can lead the charge with AEW competing against WWE and New Japan. While it was a very successful debut, many people had things to say, and that includes Seth Rollins. And like I said, I love the guy. I love him. I'll always love him. But at the end of the day, we just share different perspectives about what we want out of life and where we are in our own lives. I hope he does well. I've kept enough tabs on him to know that he's doing super well for himself right now, and I'm happy for that. But I just don't think there's any reason to hop on a soapbox and complain after the fact. You need to take the first step, and that's looking in the mirror and asking yourself, did you do every single thing you possibly could to make yourself and your situation what you want it to be? And if the answer is yes, you did, then you can go elsewhere and complain. Now, what's really interesting about Seth Rollins' comments is clearly that Seth Rollins does back up WWE 100% entirely. And with a war blooming between WWE and AEW, two guys who were once stablemates, tag team champions in WWE, are now possibly going to head to compete against each other, leading their companies. It's no secret that John Moxley will be a top star for AEW and is one of the hottest free agent signings thus far. John Moxley then competed at Fyter Fest to compete against Joey Janela, and this pretty much made Dean Ambrose's WWE career totally forgettable. While it is expected that John Moxley will be leading AEW on TNT, many fans are showing concern on social media due to the mixed response of all three pay-per-views of AEW in 2019. Although Double or Nothing started off with a bang, Fyter Fest and Fight for the Fallen were met with some concern, and of course, that is starting to scare some of the fans. Now, that is not necessarily shocking considering the fact that AEW has yet to be on TV. But of course, with AEW having two shows that are falling short of what is expected, fans are making it very clear that AEW has to step it up when it comes to TV. In fact, they shouldn't be taking shots at WWE. However, that's the problem. AEW has been taking shots at WWE, and this is something that has definitely become concerning to most pro wrestling fans. On one hand, they want to support AEW because it is an alternative, and that is something that AEW continues to prove and preach on a daily basis. However, with Fyter Fest and Fight for the Fallen, it's become very apparent that there are going to be growing pains for AEW. So before AEW could start taking shots at WWE, what they really need to do is just focus on putting on the most consistent quality product of all time. And that is exactly what this pro wrestling war is about. This isn't about money, nor is it even about ratings or attendance. This is simply based on quality product. If AEW is not going the sports entertainment route and they are becoming a sport, that just gives you another healthy alternative to watch. And this allows WWE to ramp things up because WWE knows that you might be watching something other than them. WWE has said this before. They don't just compete against entertainment, they compete against everything. Whether that may be time, whether that might be sports, music, it doesn't matter. They want your attention to be on WWE, and WWE doesn't want your attention anywhere else, let alone another wrestling company. So if you are AEW, at this point, your number one goal is not to worry about numbers, it's not to worry about taking shots at WWE, it's not even about the business aspect. You want to be profitable, and you want people watching your product, and you want people satisfied with your product. Here's the very truth about AEW versus WWE. AEW is not going to beat WWE. And if you're going to watch AEW hoping that happens, that's just simply not going to happen. At least not for a very, very, very long time. However, Wednesday nights sure will be competitive because WWE is expected to put NXT on Fox Sports 1. And of course, WWE is doing this move specifically to hurt AEW. Multiple sources have also confirmed that WWE is looking to compete with AEW on Wednesday nights, and therefore having the move of NXT go to Fox Sports 1 would include a huge change in production, a huge change within the format, meaning AEW would go live, competing against a live NXT product, and of course, we would even see possibly more members from the main roster show up on NXT. So WWE here would essentially be creating NXT as the third brand going forward. And while that could be exciting, it could also be a shot in their own foot. And that's the truth. WWE does not need to focus on AEW, and AEW simply does not need to focus on WWE. In order for these companies to be successful, they have to focus on being the most consistent and high quality product that they can be. This is an issue in pro wrestling in general. We have seen several companies take shots at other companies, and they can't back it up with their product. Now, I firmly believe AEW can do a lot of great things, even if WWE is on Fox Sports. I think WWE could do a lot of great things on Fox Sports, regardless of AEW being on TNT. And that's just simply the truth of this pro wrestling war. I mean, let's face it, Vince McMahon has been successful for a very long time in pro wrestling, and it's all by design. It's not really shocking that WWE is going to take the approach of competing with AEW before AEW can compete with WWE. At this point, WWE remains the number one pro wrestling promotion in the world, and AEW is just number 2 in North America. So because of this, I think AEW just simply needs to focus on its own television product for now. Being the number 2 promotion in the United States is incredible when you look at how big WWE is and how small Impact and Ring of Honor are. If AEW is able to have successful TV shows on a weekly basis, AEW will be profitable. And at the end of the day, money is going to be the most important asset in this business. It's the same reason why WWE stars have signed with WWE in the first place. These long-term deals are afforded by WWE because WWE has so many years of success. And that's exactly why AEW needs to really focus on their own product to eventually get to that step. I do firmly believe that two large companies could coexist in the same way that Pepsi and Coca-Cola do. And if AEW and WWE can coexist, then Vince McMahon could go finally hand the keys to Triple H and focus on the XFL. So maybe Vince McMahon is just simply not going to go away until he defeats AEW. And this is exactly why a wrestling war is bad. We don't want to see AEW go away. We want CM Punk back in the WWE. We want CM Punk back in wrestling, and honestly, we'll get him wherever he can go. And that's the biggest problem. This competition is going to get very exciting, but it could get also very bad very quickly. And that's something that definitely cannot happen. Now let's take a look at UFC, for example. UFC is able to compete with Bellator, and both companies are very successful in 2019. So why can't AEW do the same? Well, I think this is just a matter of pro wrestling fans in general. Pro wrestling fans have been dying for a pro wrestling war ever since TNT announced AEW coming to their network. And the last time we saw pro wrestling on TNT was WCW. And we all saw how that worked out. Again, a pro wrestling war does not work in 2019. I want a second company to be successful. It's going to make WWE change their ways. But we have seen when WWE is ultimately very competitive, they are very good at killing their competition. And that is something that we just don't want to see with AEW versus WWE. Now, of course, WWE and AEW are expected to compete this upcoming fall in 2019. And only time will tell who is going to win. But at this point in time, I really just want to see healthy pro wrestling competition. I want to see pro wrestling fans excited, and I want to watch pro wrestling on a daily basis where I am not having to choose between either company. And unfortunately, both of these companies are going to try to make us choose between them, and that is something that is very, very upsetting. But guys, with that being said, my name is Ango. I want to say thank you for watching today's video. As always, you could click that subscribe button. You could click that like button. You could leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. This is my truth about the WWE versus AEW war, and I do look forward to seeing many things happen in pro wrestling. As always, guys, we will cover it here on Destination Pro Wrestling. See you next time.